The Let's Be Buds show is for adults 21 plus only. Content is for education and entertainment. We don't sell or promote cannabis. Please follow your local laws and consume responsibly. Opinions are our own. Keep all products away from children and pets.
Are you ready?
Hey there, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome. All you early birds, look at you guys. Great to see everybody. Just for those who are maybe new to the show, just say hi in chat, and that'll qualify you for a 32-ounce bottle of Lost Coast Plant Therapy and some really cool merch. So just say hi in chat, and you're qualified to win.
We're going to do it right now. We're going to give it away.
Woohoo! And Hartman, you're the exclusive James. Just a boost. Oh, a new one. Okay. Congrats, Mr. Sipotsky. I hope I pronounced that correctly. What this means is you are qualified to be in the draw. It'll take place on the first Wednesday of the month. So good luck with that. We got a great one for you tonight. As usual, joined by Dave, our producer, Miranda, our co-host, and Josh, our resident wannabe biologist. You like that? Okay. So before we get the show going, I want to make a statement. And then we'll get on with the show. People have asked why Russ and Emily are no longer with the show. I had no intention of making a public statement about any of this. However, after learning that they had released a video discussing the situation, I felt obliged to explain my viewpoint. I haven't seen their video, so rather than offering a rebuttal, I'm simply sharing my perspective. We were organizing a community grow-along, and Mr. Toad had offered to sponsor it. We invited Tony onto the show to talk about the project. During the conversation, the topic turned to concentrates and tolerance. If you haven't seen the exchange, you can watch the episode and draw your own conclusions. What began as a discussion turned into a heated argument. As much as I support healthy debate, I felt our guest was treated disrespectfully. The following Monday, I met with Russ and Emily to discuss what had happened. They saw the situation very differently than I did. In their view, nothing inappropriate had occurred. No apology was necessary, and if Tony chose not to continue as a sponsor, we could simply find another one. They asked why I hadn't stepped in during the exchange, and the honest answer is that I was stunned by how quickly things escalated and found myself at a loss for words. Looking back, however, I felt it wasn't my role to be a referee between adults. I expected everyone to conduct themselves respectfully. At that point, I told them we weren't having a show that Wednesday, but it was shortly afterwards that I made a decision to end the podcast. That decision didn't come lightly. I realized it wasn't just about me. It was about the friends who tuned in week after week to share some laughs, support one another, and build our community. If you've read our mission statement, our goal is to touch one life every time we go live, and I truly believe we've accomplished that. It was about the love for the plant, but more importantly, it was about the people. At the time, we had 44 growers signed up for the Grow Along. While nobody suffered financially, many people had committed their time and were looking forward to participating. I knew that ending the show would disappoint a lot of people, and that weighed heavily on me. Even so, I felt it was the right decision under the circumstances. As time passed, I received overwhelming encouragement to continue. After careful consideration, I decided to relaunch the podcast, but without Emily. For me, the issue wasn't the disagreement itself, it was the inability to recognize how the interaction affected our guest and the show as a whole. Because of that, I no longer felt we shared the same vision moving forward. I understood that Russ would stand by Emily, and I expected some fallout from my decision. However, after everything that's gone into building this show, I wasn't comfortable allowing it to end that way. If the show is going to end someday, I want it to be on terms that I can stand behind. Russ and Emily will always have a place in my heart, and I'll always be grateful for the contributions they made to the show and the community. You're welcome to form your own opinions. If you choose to stay, we appreciate your support. And if not, I sincerely wish you all the very best. So on that note, let's get on with the show. And Miranda, if you could please introduce our guest.
Yeah, so this week we are excited to welcome Scott from Herbs Now to the show. As we all know, the drying process is a very, very important process. So we're going to find out, the technology that they've came up with to make it a little easier on us. So welcome, Scott, to the show.
Welcome to the show, Scott. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
I am great, and I would like to say thank you for having me back. I'm very excited to be here tonight with all of you.
Well, we're looking forward to it as well. There's a lot of controversy around the drying and curing process, and I'm looking forward to digging into it deeper with you. For the benefit of those that may not know you, Scott, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how your company got started?
Absolutely, Rick. My name's Scott. I'm a grower just like yourself. I have a laboratory background, and over 7 years ago, I launched the Herbs Now dryer. And just like yourself, there was a time when I first went to go dry my first harvest, and I turned to the internet and looked at all the different methodology that was offered by all the different influencers and websites out there. I quickly realized that a lot of these methods and procedures that they were telling us to dry were based upon opinion and preference. This is why I dove deep into it. I did a lot of testing for over 5 years, all the temperature ranges, starting from like a low 60 degrees, all the way up to about 155 degrees I went, and I've seen the range of drying and humidity levels, and what I found out was there is a window and a temperature range that if you complete your drying within that time frame, you will retain maximum terpenes, maximum THC, maximum esters, whatever was on that strain's profile that you grow, you will retain the maximum of it. After the drying process is complete, of course, you can then begin your curing. The drying and the curing are two separate processes and must be kept that way. There is a lot of confusion in the cannabis community where drying and curing became intermingled with one another, and the drying process kind of stalled. And when this happens, when we start to stall the drying process, this is when oxidation rolls in. This is when things like mold and microbes will start to move in, because the water activity is not dropping at a consistent rate and the bud is not being allowed to dry properly. So we have a lot of issues. This is why I made this dryer. I came up with a method and a tool to bring safe, consistent drying to the table for the cannabis grower.
So we've got so much to go through. Could we maybe start with the 60-60 method and how that has been tried and true for so many years, and I know that it's not your bag, but there's got to be something to it.
Well, what's to it, Rick, is it's pretty simple. A lot of these low temperature drying methods evolved back when there really was no communication. There was no science behind everything. There was a lot of underground information. Basically what the OG said is what the OG, we did. And that's how these things kind of rooted and gained traction, because they weren't really questioned. And as the industry, grew, as states started to allow recreational use, things started to change a little bit and allowed people to be not as secretive. Yeah, we had access to labs and we could do testing all of a sudden. With my laboratory background, I was able to dissect these methodologies, these methods that were being used, these low temperature methods for drying bud, and I can relate instantly how people in the cannabis community are very sensitive about losing their terpenes, about losing their THC. They want to preserve everything. And you would naturally think, sure, it makes perfect sense. A lower temperature, it's a volatile compound. Things are going to go away if you get too hot. You would think that, but that's not the case. Our fear is not the temperature. Our fear is oxidation, because as soon as you cut the plant down, oxidation is a threat. It doesn't go away. Oxidation doesn't care about your humidity. It doesn't care about your dew point. It doesn't care about any of that. And the only way to beat it is to have a consistent dry down where your buds are consistently dropping water activity at a nice rate every hour. The moment that the water is not evaporating, is not dropping at a nice rate, it starts to linger. This is when trouble happens. And you'll start to get, aerobic activity, microbes can start to grow, spores can start to germinate. And when you slow down the process, oxidation has more time to break things down. Guys, I did the testing, okay? And if low temperatures and slow drying actually worked, I would not be on this show right now, okay? I would have not have spent the money and the time to make and create an item to help growers. And I know that there's a lot of pushback, but here's the big thing. I wouldn't be here after 7 years if the dryer didn't work, okay? I have growers out there. I have breeders out there. It took a while, but they're winning cups now. They're seeing the difference. They're understanding the process, and things are going great, guys. I got dryers going out every day. I've had dryers going out every day for years now. The only time I don't sell a dryer is when I get sold out. And I'm almost sold out. My shipment's coming in, but I'm almost sold out right now. But hopefully the end of July it arrives and everything's cool. But yes, this has been a heated topic. Guys, I was viciously attacked 7 years ago for years. Viciously attacked. You can't do that, Scott. You're full of shit. You're crazy. You're stealing people's money. You're a gimmick. That's all bad karma to me, guys. I never would do this if it wasn't real. It is real. This is a real scientific process. It's a method, and it works. And like I said, I would not be here if it didn't work. I would have been hung probably 6 months into launching the dryer, and growers would have threw me under the bus, but instead it was the complete opposite. I had confession after confession after confession. Scott, I did what you said. My buds came out amazing. Scott, I've been hang drying for 20, 25 years, 15 years, and my buds have never smelled like this. Thank you, Scott. Now, I appreciate that very much, guys, and I stuck to my guns. That's why we're here today, because I knew what I had worked.
So
I'd like to go. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, can you use the Herbs Now dryer for like other traditional medicines, like lavender, mint, things like that?
Absolutely, Miranda. In fact, my wife uses it all the time to dry her basil, to dry, rosemary. It's the same procedure. Leave the herb in there until the stem breaks. Guys, the key to this entire method is watching and observing the stem. If you get bending and flexing, there is still too much moisture in the core of the bud to stop drying and jar up. I know, believe me, I know. Right around the 50-hour mark, the bud seems perfect. This is how you like it, but that is not done yet. You have to come back to get it to that sponginess that you want. You got to get the dry down. This is the safest way. But once you've heard me say this, it is a tool. Again, you use it however you want. If you want to dry your buds for 52 hours and smoke them out of the dryer, God bless you. Go right ahead. Okay? I just want to know you. I want you to be aware of the process and make sure you're doing it correctly. Beyond that, you can do whatever you want.
Could you just give us an overview of how your machine works, Scott?
Absolutely.
Temperature,
absolutely.
time,
I kept my machine, Rick, stupid simple. Okay, all you got to do is trim up your bud, load the dryer, and press the start button. A counter will start to count down from 96 hours. This 96 hours, my fellow growers, is not written in stone. It is just an average number that I calculated after years of testing in different high humidity and low humidity environments. The 96 hours is an average number where there's a good chance your stem could be breaking, or you're going to have to put another 10 or 15 hours on your timer, again, depending on your environment. And when your stems are breaking, it's game over. Guys, I want you to know, there has been so much fear about drying bud. The cannabis community has instilled so much fear in growers that they're just literally afraid to dry your bud. I want to say this so that we are perfectly clear. When Herbs Now did laboratory testing against slow and low drying, 60 degrees, 64, 68, these low temperatures, when we did the laboratory testing, I dried the shit out of the buds in the Herbs Now dryer. Okay, they were crispy. If a hater would have took the bud, they'd, this is dust. It's no good. That is the bud that beat the pants off of slow and low. Okay, the bud that I completely dried the shit out of. I didn't stop the dryer at 60 hours. I didn't stop it at 72. I didn't stop it at 50. I dried it to the 96 hours. I added more time. I dried it, and then I brought the bud to the laboratory. And that is how Herbs Now beat slow and low. Okay. It wasn't stopped early. And I had to do it that way because I had to know what was going on. Okay. So the bud in the Herbs Now dryer, you can't over dry it. Okay. It doesn't get hot enough to over dry the bud, to hurt the terpenes, to hurt your THC. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen. Now, I know there's people out there that, oh, they like their bud a certain way. It's like steak. It's like steak. Everybody, some people like it rare, some people medium, some people like it fully cooked. Okay. This is just the drying process. If you want your steak rare or however way, once the drying process is complete, you have 1 to 3 weeks or longer to slowly bring the moisture back, and you dial it. And I guarantee you that bud will be nice and spongy, and the stem it'll be perfect. Okay. Fire goes into the dryer, fire comes out. Garbage goes into the dryer, garbage will come out. The dryer doesn't make terpenes, the dryer doesn't make THC. It only leaves behind whatever was on that strain's profile. That's why a lot of these breeders that use the Herbs Now, they love it because they can smell right away on their phenols what's going on. So it's a great tool, guys. I'm trusting you. Trust me, it's a great tool.
And when you say trim it before you put it in, are you talking about just fan leaves, or are we fully trimming it before we put it in? Because some people have an issue with wet trimming.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of, trimming. If you want to go for maximum capacity inside the dryer, you've got a good size plant. You say, I got to get as much bud dried as possible. You're going to want to trim your bud to a nice finished look. Okay. Now, if you have a smaller plant and you got a lot of sugar leaves on it and you want to keep that kind of stuff, absolutely. Remove all the bottoms out of the tray, hollow it out so it's like a barrel, and you can just trim it however you want and set the whole branch right inside the dryer. You need about 10 trays. You can put a large branch inside the dryer, and you don't have to touch nothing if you don't want to. Remember, though, the leaf tip is going to be the first thing to dry, and it'll be the first thing to regain moisture. So always when you're using the Herbs Now, observe the stem. What is the stem doing? Is it bending? Is it flexing? Yes, keep drying. What is the stem doing? I bend it and it cracked. It cracked and it will not. You're done. Call it a day. Roll one up, put it in the jar. Oh, and that's it. I highly recommend when the drying process is finished, when you finish it, smoke one right out of the dryer. Your terpenes are at the peak level that whatever was on that strain, smoking it right out of the dryer. Okay, that is not my opinion. That is actual laboratory data that I ran a few years back. So yes, bud straight out of the dryer will have maximum terpenes.
Josh, I think you mentioned earlier that you were interested in this conversation. You may have had some questions for Scott.
Yeah, that actually what you just ended on, because I've always found that a good dry, it takes about, what I used to do was about 10 to 14 days. And I used to keep mine at about 68 degrees, which is where the Canatrol stays, about 68 degrees. And then the first 4 days is basically you're drying, and then it flips to the cure, which gives you another 4 to 5 days. But I've noticed, like, after the dry, I always smoke. Like, I always smoke some, and then I wait. And it's usually about 3 weeks. About the third week is where I get the terpenes where they're just the most flavorful. They just
okay.
That's just my experience in how I've been drying and curing my flower over the past, 20. Well, I've only been growing for, I don't know, 5-6 years now, I guess.
Okay.
It was 6 years. So, I've gone through many different ways. Now I've got the Canatrol, which the Canatrol is basically dry and cure all in one box. This product you have seems like you're just doing the dry, and then you're going into a jar or a Grove bag or whatever you're going.
Correct.
To basically just store it. until you finish smoking it, basically. Okay, so the dryer is basically just a heated fan air, just sucking. Well, you have a pan at the bottom to pull moisture. I guess you got to dip the pan out. Like, where's the water going?
No, there's no pan. There's just room air flowing through the dryer. It's a sealed chamber. The air comes in through the bottom. And the way the trays are set up, the trays are hollow around the outside so that the air can only go up and across, and then it has to go through the lid. So the lid actually acts like, when you put it on, it acts like a seal or a cover for the hole. So it forces all the air through the vents on the lid at that point, so the air just can't recycle around like crazy or do whatever.
So it can't build humidity, it can't build moisture inside. The air is basically, you're just basically exhausting all the moisture right out of the box or container into the air, basically.
Correct. The moisture is consistently leaving. We call that the water activity. The water activity is slowly dropping. And yes, we are not trying to let the lingering happen or anything. There's all kinds of negative aspects to that, okay? One of them is called a boundary layer. A boundary layer is a layer of moisture that forms around the bud when you have these high humidity, low temperature conditions. It sets up a situation where microbes can start to flourish and you start to get weird odors off your bud. That's because there's a invisible layer of moisture that is not moving away quick enough. It's something that's not talked about, but it's a scientific.
You're basically like a turbo in there. You're just freaking cycling like a tornado inside this little container, and you're pulling as much moisture out of these buds as fast as possible. You're saying, what you said, 92, what is that, 5 days?
It's about 4 days.
Okay, so you're just super, like basically the Canatrol. Like there's a tub behind the box. It's just a wine box, and it's pulling that moisture out. That moisture's dripping out just like a dehumidifier. So you're doing it so fast that you're just blowing all that moistured air straight out of the top of the container and out into the room. So you don't need a drip pan. You don't need basically.
No, there's no reason for a drip pan because there's no condensate. I'm not operating at a low temperature that's going to allow moisture to condensate. So we're not trying to hold dew points or vapor pressure. I think there's more confusion. Like, I'm not saying that dew point isn't necessary or vapor pressure isn't necessary. All these things are correct things when the plant is alive. Once you chop the plant down, dew point, vapor pressure, all this stuff, this is all cellular respiration that we worry about with dew point and vapor pressure. The cellular respiration while the plant is alive, that is why we would concern ourselves with these things. Once the plant is dead, it's really not worth talking about, okay? The things to talk about are oxidation. We want water activity dropping at a consistent rate, and we want a steady temperature to allow this all to happen. And that is how I set up my dryer. My dryer was set off of laboratory data. It was not set off of opinions or somebody's preference that they like the bud a certain way or they think that this temperature does better. This is not how I designed the machine at all. I went straight for the heart of the problem, and this is how I designed the machine. It's simple, it's easy to use, it's adjustable. There's many advantages to drying with the Herbs Now, and that's why I'm still here, guys. That's the only reason I'm still here.
I had the question I was having though was I get it. You're drying the bud super fast and you're pulling all the moisture out.
Well, it's not super fast. I mean, I don't consider it's super fast compared to what the cannabis industry's been doing for the last 30 years. It's super fast, but technically it's a controlled drying way. Okay, I controlled the drying in a way to where we get a consistent, safe result every time, and we've leveled the playing field because the system that we're using, brings consistency to the table by having a preset temperature, consistent airflow, and when these mechanisms all come together, the problem of drying weed is almost completely gone. And
Right.
yeah,
So how
so
are you maintaining the like? Okay, so like these boxes that everybody like Vizia or with the Vivo Sun has one out now, and they're all kind of $1,000 a box. You know what I mean? $800 a box, whatever.
I would never sell my dryer for that.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is these things give us a place to like. The dew point comes into like maintaining this. Like they're gonna dry the bud. Like you're drying like your dryer 4 or 5 days. You're removing all the moisture. You're maintaining terpenes. And now I want to put it in a Grove bag or a jar. How effective is it in like say 100% humidity room? Like say it's like I'm in my room here and it's 80% humidity. Like does that affect, because here like the box and all that you have to adjust, like if it's like 100%
Buddy, I got growers all down south in Florida, in the Everglades. They are pushing the herbs now 85-90% humidity. 90% humidity, Josh, and they have no fear. They tell me, Scott, I'm not afraid to dry anymore with your dryer. Okay, my buds come out perfect in 90% humidity. Now, the thing is, when you have a high humidity environment like that, you're going to have a final dry time when your stems are breaking. When I say final dry time, that means your stems are breaking. 140, 145 hours. You're going to be way up there. You're going to be way past 96 hours in that humidity.
Right.
It's going to take a lot longer.
I got you. But you're doing the same product. It's just going to take a little longer because of the humidity in the room or air, or whatever you're at. I got you. That's cool, man. I like it. So
Thank you.
Tray. No, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, man.
Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
And you know what's cool? Your room, your vegetative, tropical fantasy paradise, bro. That is awesome.
I got an amusement park over here.
And we'll be getting to that later. If any of you have just joined us, Scott is our guest from Herbs Now Dryer. At the top of the hour, Josh will be taking us for a tour of his garden. At quarter after the next hour, we're inviting Sarah to the show. She's with Wild Garden. No, help me, Miranda. Wild
Garden Goddess.
God, thank you. And she is our special guest for our new segment of recognizing people for random acts of kindness. And our herb of the week is stinging nettle. So I did want.
Damn it.
That's the one. No, well, okay. Last week it was soft on your bum.
Shit
Mullen, and now it's we're okay. So, Scott, what role in the drying process does chlorophyll play in all of this? Like the Chlorophyll is an interesting topic. It's another thing that has been misunderstood by the cannabis community for a little while. We should all know and understand that chlorophyll doesn't break down it doesn't take as long to break down as we've been told. It breaks down relatively fast, okay? And by the time the drying process is finished in the Herbs Now, the chlorophyll has broken down to a level that it does not
impact the flavor or the taste or any type of harshness. Believe me, I would have heard about the harshness if it existed after drying in the herbs now, but it's not an issue. My personal preference is smoking it right out of the dryer because it has excellent flavor and taste due to the high terpene content right out of the dryer. So that's probably my favorite. Again, use it as a tool how it suits you best, okay? I've included a Herbs Now drying guide inside each and every one dryer that gets sent out. It has a drying guide. It tells you step by step exactly what to do, okay? I strongly suggest you follow it at least for the first time. Follow the process for the first time. After you get your feet wet, you do what you want, okay? You do what you want after that. But you got to at least follow the process correctly the first time. But the chlorophyll, guys, it's really nothing to worry about. It breaks down relatively fast. It's kind of an unstable molecule. And by the time the drying process is done inside Herbs Now, it's not even an issue to be talked about.
So what have you found that's been like the biggest mistake when somebody first uses it?
The biggest mistake is we go back to the fear that's been installed in the cannabis community about drying and drying too fast and over drying. Growers that use the Herbs Now for the first time will panic right around the 50-hour mark. They'll feel the outside of the bud start to get dry for the first time. They'll panic. They'll prematurely stop drying. They will turn the dryer off. They will take their buds out. They'll jar everything up, and then they try to burp this moisture out, or they don't really do anything. They think it's done. And what happens is about 3 or 4 days down the road, the microbes and the gases that have not completed, the drying process, they start to come out and leach their way out. And that grower will open the jar and smell it. And he'll be, oh, it smells like hay. And I'll get an email or somebody will reach out to me and say, Scott, my stuff smells like hay. I say, all right, well, what happened? Tell me what you did. And they'll say, well, I had the bud, I loaded it. And they'll go through the procedure and they say, well, it's 58 hours. It was done. And I say, whoa, nothing. Hey, guys, I'm going to say this to the camera real clear. Nothing is done at 50 hours, okay? Nothing at 48. It's not done, okay? Now, could you smoke it if you were jonesing, okay, you really wanted a joint and you just had to, you had to smoke some? Sure. Go in the dryer at 58 hours or 50 and get some weed and, do it and smoke it. Go right ahead. But do not stop drying, okay? Keep it drying. Do not put that in a jar. It's going to smell like hay. It's no good. You have to trust the process, okay? You have to trust the process. Take the leap of faith.
I know that feeling very well.
So I want to eventually do a segue, Scott, to the item that you give away with each Herbs Now dryer. But yes. I want to make sure that we've answered. Is anybody kept an eye in chat? Do we got any questions in chat? I want to make sure that we've answered all the questions regarding the Herbs Now, and anything you want to add at this point as well, Scott.
Other than the fact that I'm still here, guys, I'm fighting it out. They tried to get me slow and low. I've been called every name in the book. Every hater's attacked me. I'm still here. Okay, I'm still here. Dryers are going out today. Dryers are going out tomorrow. The process works, guys. If you're having trouble, if you can't seem to get things right, check out the Herbs Now, okay? If you got a perpetual grow and you're looking to speed things up a little, check out the Herbs Now. If your constraint is room and space and you're finding things getting a little out of control when harvest time happens, Herbs Now. Herbs Now, baby. I'm here for you. I ran a perpetual grow for over 10 years, and I had 2 Herbs Now. Every 2 weeks, those Herbs Now dryers were running and flipping, and I was chopping down plants. It is the perfect tool for a perpetual grow. Okay, guys, there is, like I was saying earlier, many, many advantages to this dryer, and it is my pleasure that I was able to bring this to the table for everyone, and show you, hey, we can get it done safe, we can get it done consistent.
How much can you put in that thing?
Well, it comes with 5 trays, and depending on how you configure the trays, if you configure them for maximum capacity, with the 5 trays, and this is a dry weight, you can dry 9 ounces of bud using the 5 trays. Now, if you expand the dryer to 8 trays, you can then get 16 ounces of dried bud. This is not a wet weight. This is all dry weight that I'm talking about. You can fit 1 pound inside that dryer using 8 trays. I've done it many times. Yes, of course, bud density plays a role. You're not going to hit those numbers if your buds are wispy or, you don't have any density. But average size, dense bud, you can get 16 ounces of dry using 8 trays. There's guys out there using 10, 12. I've seen some maniacs having 20, 22 trays stacked up. So it's very versatile for the space configuration. There it is. There it is.
Okay.
You can get 9 ounces in that one right there.
I got these big ass buds, man. How does it do? You just gotta remove a tray. You just get remove a tray for bigger buds. Is that how that works?
Yeah. You can. The centers of those trays, they pop out, and you'll end up with a ring. And what you do is you end up building the sides up with the ring, and you could put a beer can in there if you want. Okay. I also there you go. See how it comes apart.
Yeah.
And then now he has it right there with the ring and the tray. That is that right there, what he's showing, you can get 4 ounces of dried bud with that configuration. And then what you would do is set up another 2 trays just like that and stack it on top, and you just keep wash, rinse, repeat after that. But the 2 tray configuration that Rick just showed, that is the best way to get maximum capacity per tray.
Okay, nice.
Do you ship to Australia?
Oh, guys.
It costs a fortune.
European, I blew up dryers all over the world, okay? In the beginning, I shipped to Spain. I shipped to Italy. I shipped to Germany. I shipped to France. I did ship to Australia, okay? I shipped all over the world. And these dryers blew up because there's different voltages. The dryer wasn't set up for 220. And even when the step-down transformer was used, they got step-down transformers you can purchase. Turn the 220 volts down into 120. There was issues with that. Either the transformer was not built properly, or it was customer error where they plugged it into the 220 and not the 120, or they didn't have the pin set up right, and the dryer would blow off, and I'd get an email. So, guys, I want people to have a good experience when they dry in the dryer. I don't want them the dryer blows up or there's some voltage. So as of right now, I'm not sending to foreign countries. It's United States only right now.
You're not shipping to Canada?
Well, I don't ship to Canada, but I have shout out to Tree of Life in Pickering, Ontario. I ship my dryers to them, and they ship them all throughout Canada.
Yeah. So Scott, obviously this whole drying and curing process with your lab background is taking you down a number of rabbit holes. And also along the same lines of rabbit holes with genetics, you have come up with a very interesting thing that you're doing with some genetics right now. Would you care to elaborate on that, please?
Yes, I would, Rick. Thank you for bringing that up. My fellow growers, I embarked on a journey 5 years ago. I wanted to create something different inside the cannabis world, something that was never done before. So I started looking at things, and the path I started going down was mutations. And mutations have been used in history for a very, very long time. Many of the plants that we have right now that we have on our table are corn, potatoes, wheat. There's all different types of things that have derived from mutations. And some of these mutations come from radioactivity, and there's chemical, and, there's different things like that you can induce these mutations. So I wanted to do something really, really special. And what I did was, after going through the list, I couldn't get my hands on any uranium-236, man. They got that shit locked down, boys. I can't get no uranium-236, man. So,
I'm not going back in time.
They don't have that in Walmart, I talked to all my lab boys, and nobody's got no connections for 236. So I had to resort to other methods, and those were chemical. Now, some of you may be familiar with things like colchicine or EMS, and there's another chemical called sodium azide. Now, I looked at all the chemicals, and they do all react differently with the DNA and the genome, and I settled upon sodium azide because that one, through history, has the most success of creating DNA mutations. So what I did was I took a random group of seeds, unknown. I needed a lot of seeds because when you soak these seeds in azide solution, sodium azide, the death rate is huge. There's a huge population loss, and only the strong will survive. So I started out with a group of unknown seeds. I treated these with the sodium azide. Then the seeds were allowed to germinate, the ones that survived. The seeds that survived were allowed to germinate. And my first round, I had 7 plants survive out of roughly 200. 200 seeds were used, and only 7 plants survived. Out of the 7 plants, only 1 was a female. The other 6 were males. I had these seeds all labeled. The female plant was seed number 33. That is why we have the 33 in my name, and the X stands for mutant. We all know that through the X-Men and stuff like that. So the name of my strain is X33, and I call it Genesis because it is a new beginning. And I will get to that here real quick. So what I want to explain is how I did this. This strain, this lineage that I created, was not moved forward by looking at the plant. I didn't look at the plant and say, oh, yeah, I like the terps on that one right there. I didn't do any of that. I didn't say, ooh, this one smells good. I'm moving forward with this one. No. This is not how this strain was built. This strain, I looked at the seeds. The reason I looked at the seed is because the seed coat is the earliest stage that you will see a embryonic change, okay? So the surviving seeds were allowed to germinate. The female was pollinated by I let all the original 6 males, just pollen went everywhere. I used the seeds from that first generation female. Those were treated again with the sodium azide, but only after I looked at probably 5,000 seeds. I had a coin microscope, and I would look at each seed, and I would inspect for any type of anomaly. Now, we all know what a typical cannabis seed looks like. So I was looking for anything that could have been different. Ridges, bumps, color, anything that would have triggered me to think that the sodium azide had some type of effect. I took those seeds and moved forward with those. treating them with the sodium azide, allowing them to germinate, and then getting more seeds. I took those seeds for the third time, treated them with the sodium azide, and this sodium azide, this is badass. This is some toxic shit, Rick, okay? This is a highly toxic substance. I was gloved up. I was masked up. I was all lab coated up. You know, you don't want this shit on you because it gets in your eye or something. It's a mutagen. It's a powerful mutagen. So here's what happened. On the fourth generation, we had what was called a mutagenic event, where the mutations are layered upon layered upon layered after so many generations that there's so much stress and pressure that the DNA goes, we gotta fucking do something, and boom, and it'll finally really do something. And what that happened was it created a seed, the M4X33 Genesis polyembryonic seed. This seed came out, Rick. It looked like an acorn. And I held it in my hand and I was like, oh my God, what did I do? Look at this. And it was just so special. And it was amazing. And I was looking at it and I was in awe and I took pictures of it. And I was like, this is something. Well, it didn't stop there. I germinated the seed. Twins came out of it. 2 female cannabis plants. They both looked different. One looked like your typical modern day cannabis plant. I called that one Nebula, named after Grow Weed Easy. Nebula. Okay, Grow Weed Easy. I named the plant after her. She did a lot for Herbs Now. She was one of the first to really put us on the map with her review. So X33 Genesis Nebula is named after Grow Weed Easy. And the other twin I call Nexus. Now, Nexus looks completely different. If you went to another planet, this cannabis twin looks archaic. It looks prehistoric. The leaves are inward. They like to, what I call, do a reverse praying effect. They also have a, what I want to call is a, the serrated edge on the end. It's alternating. It's an alternating serrated edge where it'll have a small, little, and a big one, and a small one and a big one, and it alternates down the edge of the leaf. A recent discovery, oh, God, there's just so much to unload. So with those 2 twins, the whole project moved forward from those 2 twins. Everything else evolved from there forward. I am now at generation 8, and the plant has took on a completely different developmental path from traditional normal cannabis. Guys, this allows us so many different things. Not only did I demonstrate that there is another level of breeding with thousands of other potential combinations just waiting to be discovered by other breeders and growers, we created this strain, this lineage that is so far divergent from modern cannabis that it has an ability, what the scientific term is called unmasking. So as I was telling you earlier before, Rick, in the show, that this unmasking, you ever hear stories of breeders who they'll travel to Africa, they'll travel to Thailand, and they'll look for these land races, right? These land races that are exotic and been separated for so long. The reason they're looking for these land races is they want to see what these parts do when they hook them up to their modern cannabis to see if they can get something different or something, discovery, some change. You know, the reason they do that is because there's alleles. There's these things called alleles in these landrace plants that will activate other alleles in the modern day plants, and these breeders look for uniqueness. That's how we try to come up with new strains and new things. So with that being said, I knew I had something special with the X33 Genesis. So I sent a battery of samples to LeafWorks DNA. Shout out to LeafWorks DNA. These guys are wonderful. And all you breeders out there, if you truly have something special, I strongly suggest you take samples to LeafWorks and you register your DNA. My X33 was put through the process of DNA extraction, and they put it up against their reference charts, which has literally thousands and thousands of different cannabis plants that were tested. And they give you, they do a unique score, a unique test, they call it, to see where your plant lands in the cannabis realm, okay, in its area of cannabis sativa. They have all these little dots. It looks like a swarm of bees, okay? And what it shows is how rare or unique it is. And when the testing result came back for X33, we were in the 99 percentile. 99 percentile. The geneticists over there, their jaws dropped. And they were like, Scott, this is, really cool. And we started talking about it. And I said, well, doesn't these other strains like Gelato or Runts or any of these other high profile, mixes, these crosses, where do they fall? He says, oh no, Scott. He says, these guys, they're lucky if they get 60% uniqueness. 60%. I'm at 99. 99, okay? This is such a huge thing, guys. I don't even know how to, because I'm not a geneticist, and I don't consider myself a breeder. I'm a grower, and I use my laboratory background to guide me through this process. This mutagenic process was, what I did was what I would be comparable to like maybe a university study or some government funded research program where they would spend hundreds of thousands. I just did this out of my basement, man. Out of my basement with a limited budget. And I made a lineage that is off the fucking chart. Now, I'm not saying it's the best weed. I'm not saying it's the best anything. But what I am going to say is this. If you're a breeder, if you're looking to find something unique, if you have a strain that is unique, when you cross into the X33 Genesis, it will unlock things. It will enhance things. Now, it's not a guarantee, but it's a very, very high probability. And here's the sweet thing, okay? This is the really sweet thing. You cross with like a regular strain. So you cross Gorilla Glue with Wedding Cake. We're going to put Gorilla Glue and Wedding Cake together. And then you got these seeds, right? These are my Gorilla Glue. And you look at the seeds and you can't tell anything. They just all pretty much so look like cannabis seeds. Aha. This is where X33 comes in. When you cross with the X33, the genome is changed at the embryonic level. So when the F1 seed comes out, you'll see keel ridges, you'll see bulginess, and you're going to know exactly where the genomic change happened inside those seeds. You'll be saying, that seed right there, that one, something happened. And you can pick, before the plant is even germinated, you are going to know where the change happened and you can follow it. This has never been done before in cannabis. This is just huge. So huge, guys, to be able to identify where your genomic change happened. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be growers out there discovering more stuff in their strains, the ones who cross into this highly divergent X33 cross. Like I said, this isn't about hype or best weed. This is about finding new discovery. The X33 builds itself on a different platform. It does not structurally build itself the same way as traditional cannabis because it has point breaks that were made on the DNA. Guys, it's amazing. And what I'm going to do to tell you how crazy this is, I've looked into things, and you know as well as I do, some of these other breeders, when they got something really special, what did they do? They sold the seed for $500 a seed, $1,000 a seed. Some of these big seed company manufacturers, what do you think they would do? They would lock this down inside their own house. It wouldn't even go out, and they would use it in-house to create their own strains. Guys, here's what I'm doing for the cannabis community. I'm serving X33 up on a silver platter. I'm literally handing a genetic lockpick to every breeder out there in the cannabis community, and I'm including the X33 seed free in every dryer that goes out from the Herbs Now website. Okay, if you buy a dryer from the Herbs Now website, you are going to get a free X33 seed in it. And guys, let me tell you, this is the next level. This is breeding for the next level right here.
Cool. And thank you so much for that, Scott. I want to. I'm grateful that Scott's going to stick around for the rest of the show. I'd like to stay on course. I know that you sent some pictures to Dave, so maybe in the next hour we can take a look. I know you got some pictures of their trichomes and so on.
Oh yeah, man, there's some shit that'll. And I didn't even touch on the trichome. That's right, Rick. I fucking forgot about to tell you about the trichome. Guys, I got resin. There are resin beads on my trichomes. Resin beads, man. Do you know what that means? That means more yield. That means more yield per press, guys. And shout out to On the Shoulders of Giants. On the Shoulders of Giants, he's a resin guy. He's always pressing. I sent him some X33 seeds. He's going to grow it out. He's going to press it and squish it, and we're going to get some real numbers on this. But I already know, when you see these pictures of the resin glands on the sides of these trichomes, you guys are going to freak out.
Right on. Well, I'm looking forward to that. And just a reminder, Sarah will be joining us in the next session. But first, Josh, how about an update in the garden there, sir?
Yeah, what do you want to know, Rick?
Okay. Actually, if you can show us a current picture, and I've always got a gazillion questions. You know that, Josh. I'll let you. Okay. Let me start with. Okay. What new vegetables have you put into the pond garden recently?
Well, we haven't put anything in. We just got that tomato plant. We got some basil.
Yeah. And what about fish? Have you put any fish in the new part of the garden yet?
No, we haven't put any fish in. I put the minnow trap in down the reservoir yesterday, and got our little grass cut. That's my first action figure somebody sent me a lawnmower with a action figure on it. But no, it's been running now for, I think, what was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, today's day 9 since we started the pump and kept it going. So it's been running 9 days straight now without being turned off. The new part. And this is the old part over here. I say old, it's a year and a half, but it's a year and a half old this month actually. So from being turned on. Then we're day 58-ish of flower. We strung some of them up. We came back good from the crash. So we crashed it about 30 days ago. We crashed the pond and the creek. Everything just went to shit. Our cyanobacteria crashed in the creek, and all stemming from the lights that we changed. And then we changed the lights back, did a water change, added back some labs and some purple non-sulfur bacteria in the creek, and that got everything back to normal. The lights we dimmed down, got them down to around 550 to 600. Now that was during the crash. Now we pumped them back up to about 1,200. We were like 1,100 at the tops and 850 to 900 around at the middle down there. So I'm hoping that we didn't, set them back too much with the crash. So I think we were only set back maybe a week. So like I said, we probably end up going like maybe 75, 80 days, I'm hoping. That's what they're looking like anyway. Some of the tops might be a little further along than others, might go 65, 70 days. But those are raspberry deadheads from Luna Whitcomb.
Is that the one you were guesstimating about a pound off of one of those plants? Is that the one there?
Yeah, that's the one that's probably got, she's close. She's close. She's
Wow.
big. It took, the buds are real heavy, real dense, heavy bud. Shockingly, that's how they turned out. I didn't expect much from this run. I really didn't. I was thinking I was going to have to cut all this shit out of here. I was shocked that they didn't just continue to go downhill like, the grasses and the moss. And, I lost a fish. So, it was a heavy crash, and it filtered into the grass area of the creek, but it doesn't seem it did get to the plants, but I'm assuming that it was only like the plants that were like rooted close to the creek. Like, you know what I mean? Like roots were actually attached to the creek wall where they were getting some of that toxic water that was coming up in there.
You're teasing Digger there.
That's the first time he's eating out of my hand right here. He's getting ready to eat out of my hand for the first time. The proud daddy that morning. He was watching.
Oh, up there. Jeez. You could take off the tip of your finger there, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an experiment, like I said, it's the first time we've done anything like this. First time we've, it's getting to the point. I was expecting like around the 3-year mark. Like most of the time it takes 3 years for an outdoor, from you to go like from chemicals to organic into natural farming. That shift usually takes about 2 to 3 years. Most of these farmers will tell you that. I've never done it, but that's what, people tell me. Indoors, though, we have complete control of the environment. We have complete control of the water. We have complete control of the lights. And a year and a half, and I've done, this is the 5th run with no amendments. Just straight up chop and plug right beside each other.
Yeah.
And just keeping it going just like that without having to re-amend the bed, without having to water the bed. All we're doing is feeding the fish, feeding the turtles, keeping the environment dialed in. You keep that water right, and I'm gonna tell you, the microbiology that's getting wicked up into like where this creek that you see I'm pointing out, that's all sand, silt, and clay that's been brought out of the creek. You can actually see grasses starting to grow out of it. You can see that it's actually turning green from the cyanobacteria. It's really, it'll dial in so fast, way faster than I ever imagined that it could. Because like I can literally go in there with my my poker, like a little metal poker that I use to like just aerate the soil, because I don't use perlite or anything like that. So I'll just stick a poker down in there and kind of give it a little aeration. And the next day I come back and that hole is completely done. It's completely filled back in. It's complete, like all the critters, isopods, worms, all that stuff. It's almost like when I do that, it's like a signal for them to come running and repair whatever it was I just damaged. You know what I mean? So it's really like on the next level. I'm seeing things that you won't see in a typical grow. You know what I mean? It's just like, holy shit, this water is actually affecting these plants in a way that if the creek crashes, that's why in my head I was like, wow, the creek crashing was actually the best information I could ever hope for, because it allowed me to see like, oh shit, the creek died, the algae died first, the shrimp went, and then I saw the grass going yellow, and then the plants started to really show. And I was like, okay, this is telling me that the creek water that is being wicked up into these soil beds is actually has a huge effect on everything that I'm growing in these beds. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm just running water through a center of a creek and it's pretty. It's actually has a real effect on the growth of the plant, growth of the grass, growth of everything in the whole bed. So if you crash the fucking creek and you have a bloom, so to speak, a gas bloom is what I call it, you get toxins that build up because I lost my algae. So I don't have a filtration box. So that's what a lot of people misunderstand, is that pond is no filter. There's no filtration. There's like a lot of these things. When you have an aquarium, you have a whole nother tank to filter the water for your pretty tank. You know what I mean? You need filtration for that water. Well, the creek is the filtration. And if you don't have that cyanobacteria, if you don't have the algae, the string algae, capturing all that poo that's being filtered through there, it builds up within days. You'll crash the system just like you would a fish tank. If you let the filter go too long, you don't clean your filter, then you're going to crash your system. So it's the same thing in this, except the creek is the filtration. So it was crazy how I just changing this light spectrum in the Grandmasters, which I have full spectrum control, which in my, for me, it's great, but for most people, I wouldn't recommend. It's like going and playing with the spectrums if you don't know what you're doing, like me. I crashed the whole system because I basically turned off my light, the spectrum that was feeding the algae, okay, and turned on the light spectrum that kills the algae, which is the deep red. So that deep red acts as basically a laser beam, and then the water actually reflects that light, almost intensifying it, which just cooks. It cooked my shrimp, cooked my algae, cooked all the cyanobacteria. Everything that was running and cleaning the creek died. All from the light. All from the light.
And of course, it was what the algae was doing. It was creating oxygen as well, and that was
it has a lot of different it has a lot of different things that it does that I can't explain science because I'm not a scientist. Like I said, these shows that I'm doing with Mo, with I Grow Soil, like tomorrow at 6:00, these new episodes, Soil Discoveries. That's why I'm going to be inviting people that are a lot smarter than me onto the show so that I can ask questions like that. Like what type of effect does deep red light have on cyanobacteria? And cyanobacteria eats light. That's kind of what it does. It eats light. It produces oxygen. The string algae in the creek, same thing. Like the algae that's building in the new creek right now, I'm actually watching it form little oxygen bubbles under the water, on the algae itself. And then every once in a while, I caught one, just released the bubble, and it came up and popped. I was like, "Oh, life!" You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, that's actually, how everything started on this planet." You know what I mean? That little oxygen bubble coming up from the water and popping into the atmosphere, and voila, you do that billions and billions of times, and voila, you got an Earth.
I saw one of those bubbles the other day when I was having a bath.
Yeah.
But that's a story for another day.
We don't want to know about those bubbles.
Okay. So if any of you aren't aware, Miranda's having a bit of a challenge with her internet tonight. But also, Miranda, did I see a note here from Sarah? Did you?
Yeah, I don't think she's making it. I think she made a mistake on the timing and she had to go out of town, but she might. I'm not quite sure.
Just came in here to double check. Had to go out of town. Okay, well, so she might be here. She may be here.
Yeah.
But way to distract yourself, Rick. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for Sarah. Josh, if you want to, forgive me for jumping around, everybody. Josh, if you want to add anything, well, yeah. Remember tomorrow night you go live with Mo, from I Grow Soil at 6 p.m. Eastern. So tune in for that. And Scott, Dave, could we, those pictures Scott sent you about the
I have a question for Josh real quick.
Please.
Hey Josh, what do you got invested right now into getting a system like you got? How much you think you got invested? And does the creek bed, is that feeding the cannabis plants too? Is that what I'm seeing? Because if so, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was just talking about. Yeah, the creek actually feeds the soil, which feeds cannabis. Yeah, it all connects. And that's why I was saying, like, if I was to, like, if just picture, let's just say I have a fish tank and I let the fish tank crash, I don't clean it.
Right.
Well, anything in that fish tank, even if I had a plant in it, like off to the side on the top, the roots, that plant's going to suffer because it's getting water from that crashed fish tanks. So it's kind of like the same principle here. If I don't keep the pond and the creek healthy, it transfers all of that into the soil. When the plants suffer right along with the fish and all the aquatic.
That's what I thought you were talking about. I just wasn't sure if it was two separate systems or if the cannabis was actually feeding off the creek.
Yeah, what I did was merge the terrestrial with aquatic. So I wanted to, and that's nature does it with a creek, and then it basically, the sand, the silt, the clays that build up over thousands of years along the edge of these creeks, are full of microorganisms, but just off as you get closer and closer to the shoreline and into the like the grasses and the bushes, and then into the trees, like the successional stages you get coming out of a creek. So if you walk out of a creek and you'll step on sand, silt, clay, then as you get on in, you're going to get into the grasses, then you'll get to the bushes, then you'll get to the trees.
Right.
Same principle here.
Okay.
And we had to layer it properly. So this is in a horizontal soil system. I don't know if you're familiar with a horizontal, like soil horizons. If you had to stick a shovel in the ground, you're going to go organic matter, soil, and then you're going to get clay, and then you're going to get, rock down into your bedrock. And then some places, if you're lucky, you'll hit a water, say a aquifer. I have a deep well here.
Okay.
I had to drill down 120 feet to get to my aquifer, to get to my water. So same principle. Wow. In the bed, it's layered the same way. So the garage floor, the concrete floor, is my bedrock. And then I go pea gravel, sand, silt, clay, and then red clay on top of that. Then soil on top of the red clay. So the red clay separates soil from my reservoir water, where all the extra water goes that the soil can't handle. All that goes down into my, what they call an E horizon, which is where the reservoir, where the water is held, which is all aquatic biologists, pea gravel, sand, silt. Same stuff that's in the creek is down there. So that keeps the soil from going anaerobic. So I can sit there and water my bed. I can take a water hose to it if I wanted to, right to the soil, and just fill it up as much as I want. And it wouldn't matter because it's all going to just run down through the soil, down into my reservoir, and fill up my reservoir. And then it'll fill up my trap hole. Then I'll just have to go pump it out with the trap hole.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works. It wicks water from the top, and it also wicks water from the bottom up, just like an earth box would.
Have you had to make much adjustment by adding the extra lights with the temperature and humidity that may have been affected?
No, I just had to I had to add a dehu, so which I knew we were going to have to add an extra dehumidifier. So that's the only thing I've added was the 3 lights, a dehumidifier, and a pump. That's the only thing that's going along with the thing. So investment, while you asked how much I have in this, I mean, it's really just a lot of work. Like I went to the wholesale, basically it's a rock called Luck Stone. They got them all over the country, really, but they're just a rock place. You can go buy rock and pull your truck up on a scale, fill your whole back of your truck up for like $100. You know what I mean? But that's how I did it, and I just did it hand by hand, rock by rock. There ain't a lot. It's not a lot of money in it. You know, it's all work.
Okay.
Setting it up was a bitch. It took me 10 months to build it. Took me another month to really dial it in. There were a lot of trial and error, like getting the water to. It's all about water retention and water. Getting the proper amount of water, moisture in your soil consistently, no drawbacks, none of that stuff. This is living soil we're talking about. So these microorganisms they need moisture all the time, but they need the right amount. So too much is you're going to go anaerobic. You're going to get, funk. You're going to get swamp smell. You're going to get things you don't want. But if you keep it around 70, 80%, moisture retention in your soil, it's like a sweet spot, and things just take off, and the microorganisms that are releasing the nutrients from the sand and the silt and the clays that are in the rock, and then you add the biology, which is the shit from the turtles.
Right.
This is nothing but food. Basically, I created a compost tea with the waterfall and everything coming out of the pond. So I'm composting and teeing up, bubbling up everything in the creek, and then it gets dissolved oxygen, gets really high in the creek water. Then that gets wicked up into the soil pockets where the microbes are just happy to have all that oxygen. And then you add the algae along with that, and it's a happy little environment for just about anything that you want to grow if you can maintain moisture. And then the dehues just suck the water out that the plants put out, and we just recycle that water right back into the system. So it's clean, distilled water coming out of the dehue. Just dump it right back into the creek, and that tops me off. So it keeps me topped off with the dehue water. So the evaporation and all the water that gets wicked out and the plants use just gets put right back with the dehue. So I don't have to do any top offing or anything. It's really I've almost got a closed loop system here that I can actually just, maintain temperature, maintain my lights, maintain the environment, and just feed my fish and let it go. And steward the play. You got to steward it. It's got a lot of stewarding,
Yeah, stewarding, right.
Yeah, just steward the bed and, make sure things don't get out of control, which things do, because it grows fast. Like when you're in a controlled environment and you get 18 hours of light going, shit gets crazy real quick.
How big is your area? How big is the area? Because from the video, it looks like you got a pretty big space.
I got 500 square feet in my garage. That's what I'm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The bed is the one bed with the turtles and everything. That's 12 foot long by 9.5 feet wide.
Wow.
And added onto that, it's another 6-7 feet, and then another 12 feet long. So yeah, it's a lot. It takes up the whole quite a bit.
Oh.
It's gonna get crazy in here. We're gonna have a fucking jungle in this bitch.
Can you see challenges down the road with your vegetable side being on 12 hours versus? Oh, here we go. Yeah, being on 12 hours versus 18. Is this going to confuse your tomatoes?
Yeah, that's why we're waiting. We're waiting to put in any more vegetables or anything like that. I planted grass, and then. Your terpenes got some zits coming off of it.
Yeah. I see the trichome. That's the
moles coming
resin.
off there.
That's the resin bead I'm talking about, and I think there's a glandular mutation, and the trichome is now secreting resin. And this isn't just one fluke photo, guys. I literally have dozens and dozens of trichomes on the plants like this, and it was from multiple generations, starting from what I can see from going back to generation 4. So I'm at generation 8 now, and every generation has passed on those trichome stalk beads that I'm calling them.
Nice. It looks crazy. How's it
It's
smoke?
crazy, right?
I
I was in shock when I seen it through my microscope.
Is it a grainy terpene? Is it a oily? Like what's it feel like when you touch it? Is it sticky? Is it?
It just feels like normal sticky cannabis. The only way you can see this is if you use the microscope. Where I'm using a bright field microscope to get these pictures here.
Yep. That thing looks like a bean hanging off of a pole.
I have the trichome heads. I've seen many twin trichome heads, but that wasn't as fascinating as those beads that were coming off of the stalk and showing up on the heads. The best thing that I can come up with, and this is from using AI. When I first started this project, there was no AI. AI wasn't launched yet. So now I can show these photos to AI and it can give me ideas and we can create hypothesis on what's happening. And the best hypothesis that I've come up with so far is just some type of glandular mutation, and it's spread throughout the lineage.
What is this smoke like? The effect, the taste, the flavor, all those good things.
I mean, it's all there, Rick. I mean, I know there's some strains out there that had some hype, and you smoke them, and nobody, But this is the X33's got some kick. There's something about the buzz I haven't been able to put my finger on. I don't know if it's a delayed effect or some type of hang time effect, but there's something there I can't put my finger on. And as far as the overall aroma, if you've ever walked into like a discount tire or a Bell Tire store where it's got that rubbery industrial smell, that's what this plant smells like. It's a very unique smell. I haven't smelled it like that. And there, yes, we had the seeds up. The seeds they're crazy looking, as you can see.
Yeah, I was going to. Would you mind bringing that one up again, please, Dave? And did you want to describe some of those seeds there?
Yeah, absolutely. So this collage here that we see, this is of the latest generation. This is generation 8, and you can see the keel ridges, kind of like on a boat, the keel of a boat. It has a very pronounced ridge on it, and we have what I call bulging, like a belly that's bulging almost. It gives it almost a walnut or some type of nut configuration, acorn. I've been told brain, cabbage, all kinds of different descriptions of what this looks like. And this is what the seed has basically been evolving into.
And are those seeds about the same size as normal seeds, or are those the bigger ones that you were talking about?
That's an excellent question, Rick. No, these are much bigger than a typical cannabis seed. They're about anywhere from 5 to 6 millimeters in length, and they have a very thick dimension to it. So when you see it and hold it, you can physically tell a difference.
So, by the way, Scott's Instagram information is in the show notes. But Scott, you also have another link over on X where you talk about this, right?
Correct. I have a detailed write-up on all of these images, and from the very beginning of when I started X33 Genesis using MPB, mutagenic precision breeding. This is the technique that I used to develop X33. So anybody, any breeder, any grower can also exercise the MPB methodology and create their own mutant. So yes, you check it out. I'm on X. Simply find me on X, and I have on my profile on X a link right to the MPB group where I give full details on what I think is happening and the changes that were made to the DNA of the cannabis plant using the sodium azide.
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. I'm thinking that unfortunately Miranda's having challenges with her internet. Sarah looks like she won't be able to make it. What I'd like to do, rather than run her thing there, Dave, I'd like to reschedule her for the show. So we'll see if we can get her on down the road there. I wouldn't mind though, although I don't know if Josh, if you did your homework, talking about what's it called, stinging nettle.
You want me to do homework?
No, I thought
you didn't even do that in high school, Rick.
Why would you start now, for God's sake?
I've got a video on the stinging nettle, so I'm good at that. I've got a video for Sarah too. If you want to do that, I'll give her a shout out.
But hell, I do have this though.
What you got? Can't see shit. Where'd you go?
Okay.
Okay,
Let's
AI.
Okay. Let's save Sarah for down the road. Dave, why don't you do your thing on stinging nettle, and then Josh, you can take over and tell us what AI has got to say about it.
I can do that.
Oh, all right. Let's see. I wasn't prepared to do it right now, but hey.
Oh, you weren't ready? Okay.
Yeah.
In this video, I'm going to show you 11 remarkable stinging nettle benefits, including hair, skin, and gout. Stinging nettles are an amazing plant, but don't let the sting of stinging nettles keep you from getting to know this amazing plant. Nettles have a long history of use for food, medicine, fiber, and more. I'll show you why this natural green wonder has so many benefits. 1. Detoxifies the body. The wide range
I made a tonic out of stinging nettle one time.
makes it an ideal detoxifier for the body, and it has been known to gently cleanse the body of toxins. As a diuretic, it can also ensure that those toxins being neutralized in the body are then eliminated quickly. 2. Skin care. When the extracts are applied to the skin, stinging nettle has been proven to reduce the severity of acne and can even prevent bacterial infections. Due to its antioxidant properties, it can also speed healing, reduce the appearance of scars and blemishes, and promote anti-aging effects to reduce wrinkles and age spots. 3. Prevents kidney stones. Stinging nettle has long been known as a diuretic, but it also affects the kidneys in a different way. It can help break down stones in the kidney and gallbladder. This prevents those painful conditions from worsening or requiring stones to be either passed or surgically removed. Also, as a diuretic, stinging nettle helps eliminate toxins quickly, thereby protecting against bladder infections and excess fluid retention. Also, as a diuretic, stinging nettle helps eliminate toxins quickly, thereby protecting against bladder infections and excess fluid retention. 4. Aids in pregnancy. Stinging nettle tea is often suggested for women who are undergoing excessively painful labor, and it helps to protect against excessive bleeding, as it can act to thicken the blood. Furthermore, it will help stimulate the production of milk and make lactation easier. 5. Promotes feminine health. Stinging nettle has a number of active components that affect feminine health. For painful premenstrual symptoms, it can give relief from cramping and bloating, while also minimizing blood flow during menstruation due to its astringent capabilities. For women undergoing menopause, stinging nettle can smooth the transition and act as a restorative, so the hormonal shift isn't as dramatic in the body. 6. Improves circulation. The combination of high vitamin C and iron content in stinging nettle makes it ideal for stimulating red blood cell production. Vitamin C optimizes iron uptake in the gut, while the iron is a crucial component of hemoglobin. And for the same reason, stinging nettle is often recommended to relieve fatigue or anemia, which is characterized by general muscle weakness, exhaustion, and headache. 7. Anti-inflammatory. Stinging nettle is very effective against various inflammatory conditions. Researchers from Germany in their study have revealed that the herb can treat rheumatic arthritis and chronic muscle pain. Furthermore, stinging nettle tea or herbal supplementation can also effectively treat gout. 8. Strengthens bones. Although we don't hear much about boron, it is still an important mineral found in stinging nettle. Boron has been linked to maintaining calcium content in our bones, which means that stinging nettle can help to slow the onset of osteoporosis. When you combine that effect with the hormone-regulating impact that stinging nettle has, this helps to regulate and monitor bone health as well. 9. Treats respiratory issues. Stinging nettle has also been connected to the treatment of a variety of respiratory conditions, including hay fever, asthma, and other seasonal allergies. Also, certain extract combinations from stinging nettle can significantly reduce allergic reactions. 10. Improves prostate health. Prostate enlargement and other problems related to it are serious factors to consider as men age, and stinging nettle has proven to be an effective means of preventing prostate growth. However, due to the chemical pathways that this treatment takes, stinging nettle root can only prevent the prostate enlargement, not reverse or reduce it. 11. Protects heart health. Now, it also makes sense that this amazing cure-all herb would also be able to positively affect the heart. Research has revealed that regular consumption of stinging nettle tea can help to lower systolic blood pressure and relieve tension and stress on the cardiovascular system. Drinking nettle tea is one of the best ways to consume this plant. To make nettle tea, cover a tablespoon of dried leaf or crushed fresh leaves with a cup of boiling water. Let it steep for 15 to 20 minutes. Strain and drink. Sweeten with a bit of honey or maple syrup if desired. The tea can also be used as a hair rinse or massaged into the scalp to promote hair growth. For acne or other skin conditions, dab cooled tea onto the affected area. I hope you've enjoyed this video on the 11 remarkable stinging nettle benefits, including hair, skin, and gout. If you have, please give this video the thumbs up.
That shit can grow your hair back. Hell yeah.
That's what they say, man. I don't know.
I don't know. I know one thing. You're not going to go outside and pick it and rub it on your head. I'll tell you that.
No, you don't want to do that.
If you ain't never been stung by stinging nettle, boy, God.
Yeah.
Hey, that shit sucks.
Dave, was it Georgia on my mind that won last week's seed? Was it the seed giveaway? No, it was. I just see Georgia on my mind in chat, and I don't think he sent me his. Was he a winner? Georgia, were you a winner? You've got to go to the. You've got to send me your contact information over at. What is it? What is it? Oh, shit. Let's Be Bud Show live at gmail.com. Yeah, if you could please send that information. Yeah, I'm pretty.
Rick, your mic's still messed up. You've still got a crack in your mic. I don't know what it is.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll.
Hey, y'all want to know what stinging nettle's good for in the garden?
Yes, please.
Keep shit away. I know.
Yeah, it's great. You can also make it, fermenting it. Is that me or is that me feeding back or what? Or is that Rick?
I'm not sure.
All right. Anyway, yeah, it's you can make organic nettle tea by submerging chopped leaves in water for a few weeks, diluting it in the mixture, and just adding it to your soil as a fertilizer. Stinging nettles are highly beneficial to plant flowers, acting as nutrient-rich fertilizer, a natural pest deterrent, and a vital pollinator magnet. So bees like it. Just bees like their flowers. So, yeah, it can easily be utilized in the garden. The best way is to ferment it down. Just with the water.
And okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, way better. Thank you.
That's better. Okay. So what nutrients is it giving the plant, Josh? Is it
It's got
nitrogen or?
So it's a natural dynamic accumulator. So its roots go very deep. Nitrogen, iron, potassium, calcium, and magnesium are some of the big ones that it pulls up. A lot of people add it to their compost. Compost all naturally. So it's a natural. What does it say here? Antifungal, antibacterial. So it's antifungal, antibacterial. You can apply nettle spray to foliage. Basically, make a JLF out of it.
Oh, okay.
Dilute it in water. Doesn't say a dilution ratio, but I would probably go 500 to 1 or something like that at least. And spray it on your plants. It's great. Great deterrent for pests and antifungal and antibacterial.
Right on, right on. And while the video was being played there, Scott, I heard you make a reference to stinging nettle. Okay, did Scott not hear me?
Oh, Scott, you may have to come back in to be able to hear Rick, because Rick went out and came back in.
Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
You can hear Rick?
Me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Me?
Can I hear
Can you
Rick?
hear me? Yeah.
You hear Rick?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I don't think I can hear Rick.
Okay. Do you want to ask him the
Nope,
question?
I can't hear Rick.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
going to have to come back, go out and come back in there, Scott, because Rick left.
Okay.
And he's back. And he's going to want to.
All right. Is this something on my end where the sound keeps doing this, or?
No.
Some people's phones. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
Out once,
Yeah.
but we're a bunch of stoners who can't remember.
Let me pop in and out. Hang on.
And of course, I've already forgotten my fucking question, but I noticed Miranda had mentioned as long as it's cooked, dried, or crushed, it won't sting. Oop. It won't sting. Wear gloves, obviously, while picking it.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
I made that mistake one time. I'll never do that again.
Yes, and for those of you who aren't aware, we've got a seed giveaway. It's the Let's Be Buds crew. It's going to be giving away the seeds. If you're in the U.S. Through Dave or Josh, I don't know if you've got any of your stuff available yet. And if you're in Canada,
No, I don't have anything available yet. I'm going to run through a few of mine before I send them out. I haven't even grown them, so.
right on. Can you hear me now, Scott?
Yes, I hear you perfectly now.
Okay, my challenge is I forgot my fucking question.
He was saying something during that video.
The video?
Oh, you said you made a tea one time with the nettle.
Oh, yeah. During the video, Scott, you made mention of something you did with stinging nettle.
Yeah. I made a elixir out of it, and it has a lot of health benefits. The stinging nettle, as it showed in the video. So yeah, I did that last year. Actually, I do a tonic. My wife makes it every spring, and we use things like she puts stinging nettle, dandelions. What's the other fucking thing? Some other weed that's in the backyard, and she makes this tonic, and I swear it tastes just like cucumber water. It tastes delicious, freaking delicious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
All right. Let's see. There are 20 in. I'm going to draw 10. That gives everybody what? 50 shot? Oh.
Great to see so many
That's good.
faces in chat. And Mo, good to see you, my friend. Hoping to get you back on the show again soon. Oh, what has he got to say about nettle? 840 parts per million of calcium. Wow. One of the best extracts out there. So, Josh or Mo, is this maybe a question for you? So, I know calcium seems to be deep in the ground. So, it's fair to assume that the stinging nettle must have long roots.
Yeah, that's what it said. It said it's an accumulator, and roots go deep, pulling up all that calcium that's down there, and magnesium, and all that other stuff. Nitrogen pulls up a lot of different things.
Comfrey. Comfrey is another good plant for pulling nutrients deep out of the soil, and then you take the comfrey leaf and amend it into your soil, and it's very good stuff.
Yeah, dynamic accumulator. That's it.
We don't need no nitrogen-based fertilizers. We just need to go old school. We need to go old school. Bring back the comfrey. You know, a lot of these industries, they put this stuff out. You know, they put it under the rug. They silenced it because they want us dependent on these high nitrogen-based fertilizers.
That's a fact.
Congrats, Green Table Gardens. Yeah, good to see you, Fazoli. While it's on my mind, I saw Bingus earlier in chat. Good to see you, my friend. And he will be on the show next week. Looking forward to that one. And sure, Mo, I'll put you on the spot. How about the week after next Wednesday? What is that, 17 and 24? That'd probably be the first week in July, first Wednesday in July. I'll reach out to you after the show, Mo. Don't want to put you on the spot like that. Congrats, Roy.
Two more.
Okay, good. What other business do we have to take care of here? Since we've got you here, Scott, let's keep picking your brain.
Go ahead.
What temperature do you run the dryer at?
Well, my dryer's set specifically to operate in the high 70s to low 80s. It's going to adjust itself depending on the environment that it's working in. Some environments, it might be cooler, some might be a little warmer. And my circuitry is set up to where I actually have two temperature sensors inside the dryer. And they try to make sure that the dryer stays within that parameter of the high 70s to low 80s. Low 80s, ooh.
Yeah, I remember when low 70s was like, ooh.
Oh, I know. Hey, Josh, 7 years ago, when I started posting the dryer and telling people, the process, they attacked me, buddy. I got attacked. There's still a lot of hate out there. And I'm quite shocked by it, because I thought there'd be a little bit more happiness, and there's a lot of happiness, don't get me wrong, but just the attacking, it just was really, it was quite fun for a while, and then it got boring, and I was like, guys, come on, let's just get over this.
Well, more people are coming around because there's a lot more science coming out now. Brandon Ross
Exactly.
has done things on it. Shark Mouse has done things on it. They've done real science on it. The Canatrolls, the Viva Cures, all these people. It's people are finally realizing 60-60 is not. And to me, I never could hold 60% or 60 degrees or 60%. I mean, holding that when it's 95 degrees outside, it's impossible.
Yeah.
And it's just something that, evolved, because of the way the restrictions were on cannabis. And
Yeah.
we're unraveling it all right now. We're unraveling it and really getting into the meat of it. And I think it's an exciting time. It's a very exciting time if you're a grower, or if your state turned legal for either recreation or medical, whatever. I think it's really exciting. I remember, when I first started my first grow and stuff, and it's fascinating. So there's still a lot of things to learn out there.
I fucked my dry and cure. I had the prettiest outdoor plant and fucked it all up. So that was my first experience. I grew a beautiful plant. I didn't have to do anything. I literally I stuck it next to the pond that I have out here, and it just grew beautiful. And then I took it, chopped it down, put it in the garage, and hung it up by the railings. And it was like 85 degrees outside. It was like 100% humidity. And I let it sit there for a week. When I came back, it was nothing but shit. And I was like, damn, I guess that's not the best way to dry and cure bud. So, and I kind of knew, people were saying, you got to dry it low and slow. And then I was like, all right, let's set up a room where we can, dial this in. And then I bought a mini damn air conditioner, set it in the room, trying to get the damn air, in this one room. And then I was like, all right, let's use the bathroom. So I had 2 bathrooms in my house. Let's just completely isolate the whole other bathroom. It was the tile bathroom, and I had the shower, and I had the humidifier, and I had the air conditioner, and I had
Wow.
I was pumping more money into the damn dry and cure than I was fucking growing the shit, just trying to hold 60-60. And I'm just like, and even still, I'm like, my whole house smells like hay for about 2 days, while it's removing some of this moisture. And then you got to have a fan on it a little bit. Do you want the fan on it a little bit, or just off of it? Do you want it blowing down or up? Do you leave the exhaust fan on in the bathroom? There were so many different questions that I was just like, and then somebody was just like, no, man, just 60-60, or you can do. No, I know what it was. I saw Brandon Russ's thing, and he was like 73 degrees is like where I stay, and I was like 73. I was like, that's fucking crazy. 73. That's way too high.
Yeah.
And then
guys,
like 80, like fuck. I'm like, yeah. Then you're like 120. Fuck it, go all the way.
No, there is a point where you can get so hot that the weed, it don't even smell no more. You can dry the weed so high and hot that it don't even smell. The stems, they turn to dust. You could get a drug dog, one of them sniffing drug dogs, and dry the weed. It wouldn't even the dog wouldn't even smell it. There is a limit to too hot. And that's the thing I did. I looked at all these temperature ranges, and what I found was this window. Okay, this window exists. They focus the cannabis industry focused only on one window. They focused on that low, slow temperature window. Okay, there's another window that they ignored because they went with what was being told by opinion and preference. They never looked at the science, guys. They didn't look at the science. That's all I'm saying, okay? This isn't about opinion. Believe me when I say this. If 68 degrees showed with laboratory testing that the weed came out amazing at 68 degrees, I would have set the dryer at Herbs Now to 68 degrees, okay? That didn't happen. I'm sorry to report this. I know many people out there are very disappointed. But the facts are the facts, gentlemen, okay? The low temperature drying did not dance. We brought it out on the dance floor, and it was just all sloppy like a fish out of water, man, okay? So this is why I set the dryer where the temperature it's at. It wasn't because I woke up one day and I said, 80 degrees, it's working great. Let's just keep with it. No. It's what the data showed. I am not a rich person. I had one stab to make it this from my manufacturer to get this done. When you lay $100,000 on the line and put it on the table, it's a big investment. And for me, it was, okay. I mean, I never had that kind of money put down in an investment for a project, for a personal thing. Most of the time there's a lot of shit involved. But I went with the science. That's what the data showed, guys. That's what the data showed. That's where that's why I'm still here right now. That's why the dryers, I got dryers on deck for tomorrow morning, okay? The growers, they want to smoke their bud. They want to dry their bud. Now, I know there's some winemakers out there. I get that. There are winemakers out there. They like to control and micromanage every single bit of the process. But let me tell you, if you can control the temperature 0.5 degree variance, it makes no difference if you're drying at 68 degrees. If it's 68.5 or 68.7, it don't matter. If you're in that range, you're not going to get the good result. You're allowing oxidation. I'm just really want to emphasize that my dryer was built on data. It wasn't built on my personal preference, on what I believe or what I think. That is how my dryer was built. Now, my competition, oh yeah, they were built on personal preference and opinions, okay? They did not do the full spectrum of data analysis like I did, because if they did, they would also see that you truly do retain more terpenes and more THC when you have a safe, consistent dry down like I made in the Herbs Now dryer. That's all, guys. That's all. And beyond that, you can do whatever the hell you want. If you like 60-60, and there's guys out there right now, I'm telling you right now, they will never stop doing 60-60. You could put a gun in their mouth and the guy, stop 60-60. No, I'm doing 60-60, man. I'm doing 60. Yeah, they're never going to stop. Okay. And that's perfectly fine. But for the growers out there that are doing these low temperature dries, 68, 72, whatever, 74. Okay. I hear some people, they love 74 degrees. Okay. Let me tell you about 74 degrees. 74 degrees didn't work in my testing. Okay. Maybe you like the bud at 74 degrees, but my laboratory data really didn't work too well at 74 degrees. That's why my dryer is not set at 74 degrees. So guys, do what you want. But if you're having trouble, check out what I got to say. Go to my website, herbsnowdryer.com. I got information on there that the cannabis community does not talk about. It doesn't fit their narrative. But the narrative's changing. The narrative is changing. Rick knows it. I know it. And it was a hell of a battle, okay? But science is prevailing. The science is prevailing. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, my fellow growers. Because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be here with Rick on Let's Be Buds. And this has just been an awesome time again, Rick. I got to tell you, I've really enjoyed myself. This was probably the best show I've been on in a while.
Well, appreciate you dropping by, buddy. I'm trying to quickly read what George on my mind is talking about here. Oxidation, interesting concept. Okay. How much does your machine sell for?
My machine is $199. That includes shipping.
Right on.
$199. Now,
Good. Go.
I'm not supposed to do this, Rick. Okay, I'm not supposed to do this because this is like a special thing. But whoever's listening right now, if you're interested in ordering, you can use the code OTS25. OTS25. That'll take $25 off your dryer. Again, I only ship in America. Only shipping in America. We do Hawaii. We do Alaska. There is, if anyone knows anyone in Alaska, there is a Herbs Now dryer that is lost in Alaska right now. We don't know where it's at. Lost in Alaska. So if somebody can come up with that, hey, let me know that someone got the dryer. But yeah, I think it's gone. Probably a bear or Bigfoot or something got it. And
shoot. Okay, congratulations, Green Table Gardens. Let me just check my Green Table Gardens. If you're still living in, okay, forgive me. What is MI? Is that Missouri, Mississippi? Michigan. Okay, if you're still living in Michigan, Green Table Gardens, I've got your contact information. You know what I would appreciate though is your if you could please email me, folks. I welcome anybody to email us at Let's Be Buds Show live at gmail.com. The email is in our show description, and feel free to send us your information. Green Table Gardens, I'd appreciate your Instagram so that we can then you can message directly with Dave as to what seeds are available, and we'll get some out to you. Scott, I really want to thank you for your time tonight. It was really educational, informative. Appreciate you dropping by. As always,
I want to thank
Josh. Well, right back at you,
I want to thank you. I want to thank Little E. It was a pleasure meeting Josh and having him explain his living terrarium he's got in his basement there. That was amazing. I think this was a fantastic show. Everybody that's listening, thank you so much for taking the time to do so and be a part of this. There's very, very exciting things yet to come in the cannabis world. Please check out my website, and if you have any questions, by all means, I am very transparent. You can send me a direct message, an email, and if you really need to talk to me, I even got a cell phone. I don't give out the number, but I can talk to you on a cell phone if you want to talk. So we can work it out. I want you to succeed. I want you to have safe, consistent drying. That's what I brought to the table with my laboratory experience and background, and that's what I want you to experience with my Herbs Now dryer.
Thanks for that, Scott. And please, we do an outro at the end of the show here. Please stick around for that. And Josh, thank you. Next week, we've got Bingus on the show. Miranda, unfortunately, you had your challenges with the internet, but thank you for all of your contributions. I'd like to get Sarah back on the show down the road. So on that note, chat, we love you, and look forward to seeing you all next week.
Peace.
From 8 to 10, it's a party you won't miss. In the live chat, everyone's in bliss. Hey. Everyone's in bliss. So mark your calendars, don't sleep on the call. Let's Be Buds is back, we're inviting you all. With free seeds and smiles, it's the time of your life. Join the family tonight. Happiness without strife. Wednesday nights, let the good vibes ascend. Together we gather. Together we blend.